All right, people, it's your boy Spank Dog, aka Puffinstein at YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. You already know. Puffinstein14 at Twitch, BC Spank Dog at Instagram, and Lopez at Facebook. So yeah, we about to get into some creepy stuff, some strange things. Man said the other day, you can't always call it a conspiracy because then everybody thinks that it's a conspiracy and even take time and process and their own math on whether it's worth believing or not. Like the guy said, the narrator. Strange. We're gonna check out some strange things. Definitely strange. The first story is ill, so let's get into it. All right, people. So let me hit play now, and here we go.
We are going to be looking at creepy videos on the internet, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Now, I really have to say, this first creepy video by Heart Starts Pounding Pod on TikTok really surprised me at the end. I wasn't expecting that.
There's a disturbing reality behind this otherwise normal photo. Can you see it? On July 3rd, 2012, 65-year-old Michael Lemater was running a marathon on a mountain in Alaska. And his wife was so proud of him. She sat up by the finish line to watch him run. But as she starts watching all of the runners finish the race, she doesn't see Michael. Finally, the last runner crosses the finish line and Michael is still not anywhere. So she finds one of the volunteers who was on the trail and he says, "No, I saw Michael running this race." He said he was up by the midway point when he saw Michael running up the trail. Michael asked which way he should go. The volunteer pointed in the direction of the finish line and then Michael went on his way. But that was the last time Michael was ever seen. And
if I went to cause stuff like that. Let's say you let go and you're overweight and you want to go run a marathon. You make a trip of it. You take your lady, your kid, and then whichever one of you is running the marathon doesn't show up at the end, and that's it. That's the end of your relationship. You never see your wife again, or you never see your husband again. What is that? You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why people like to stay close to home. The young supposed to live their life, but when you get older, you got to be a little more tactical. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, no trace was ever found. No footprints, no articles of clothing, nothing. There was no evidence Michael had even been on the trail that day.
Then you got to turn into a private investigator. And if you find somebody that hurt your lady or your husband, or even going to do that, they're going to go straight to the cops. Now you got to depend on law enforcement to find your significant other.
Really strange, but it gets even stranger when you realize that Michael wasn't the only person to vanish without a trace from that mountain range that weekend.
I don't know why. I was expecting her to say that he had a heart attack or something else happened to him altogether, but I was not expecting her to say that he vanished without a trace.
He looks like an actor from somewhere. I seen him in a comedy, like a spoof or something.
And there were signs of him whatsoever. I thought he might have went home or left, but
even though I know that's not the actor, I know he just looks like him. But I forget what spoof that there's an actor that looks just like that man.
Like she said, his was waiting there for him at the end.
God bless
Not
him.
only that, but other people also went missing that weekend as well. And reading this comment from Notorious Raven, they go on to say that, as an Alaskan, I knew exactly what that photo is. And there's a local case of a woman missing on a busy trail that has never been solved. These haunt me often. Reading more about
I pray for anybody that went missing there on that mountain.
this Mount Marathon Trail race, this mountain in Seward, Alaska, it seems like injuries are not uncommon, but these injuries are usually minor, like somebody falls into their knee or falls and trips on a rock or something like that. Like nobody's fell off mountain and lost their life. But for whatever reason, that weekend, multiple people vanished without a trace. And still to this day, Michael Lemater still has not been found. This next video comes from...
I would like to know how long ago he went missing. What did he say his name was?
That weekend, multiple people vanished without a trace. And still to this day, Michael Lemater still has not...
Michael Lemater. All right, guys, give me a second. I'm going to give it a shot. When did Michael go missing? Alaska Marathon Mountain. Oh, wow, guys. Let me get back to you guys. Hold on. Let me just hear his name one more time.
That weekend, multiple people vanished without a trace. And still to this day, Michael LeMaitre still has not.
Michael LeMaitre. He went missing in 2012. He's been gone for 11 years. He went on an Alaskan mountain, and nobody's seen him since for 11 years. I don't know if he wanted to go missing, but if he didn't want to go missing, that's very sad. And then they said other people went missing, so it's unlikely that he wanted to go missing. It's more likely whatever happened to the other one or two people that went missing or more. I didn't really catch it. Oh man, like I said, I pray for Michael LeMaitre. His name is Michael LeMaitre that went missing. God bless him.
Been found. This next video comes from the Paranormal Chick.
Meet the new standard in sleep. This is Pod 4 Ultra. It's not a bed.
We have some seal news, literally seal. This is coming out of the Netherlands. Locals have been something odd with the specific seal, and that some are even claiming it's really not a seal, and they actually think it may be a selkie or something else from mythology. But this one has been seen in a specific canal watching people, and it's almost eerie because it makes eye contact with.
Yo, this is creepy, man. And they're playing the music from the Warriors, it sounds like. If anybody's seen the Warriors, sounds like the instrument.
You and just stares. It's not displaying typical seal behavior, and that's what has residents running to folklore and mythology. People,
Yeah, it don't look regular seal.
maybe some sort of shapeshifter.
At times, because I love National Geographic. You know, I haven't animals for a while, but I always used to watch the shark specials, killer whale specials, and you know what their favorite food is. So I've seen a lot of seals in my life, and he does not look like any seal I've ever seen.
Videos and tell me what you think. Is it a real seal doing seal things, or is it something more?
And
Comment
then he's
below.
like,
The way
he's suspicious.
the way he stood there and watched the camera as if it knew it was being recorded, I just gasped. I don't care if that's normal seal behavior or not. If that was me, I would immediately delete that video footage, go over to that water, and profusely apologize, because that's the type of stuff you hear about in creepypastas. One of the pastas where you're recording an animal, the animal knows you're recording it, it's watching you, and then 3 a.m. as you're trying to sleep, you wake up and it's standing over your bed watching.
He's right, and his shape shifted. You watch the stories.
You. No, I'm good. Creepy video comes from the Interstellar discussion on TikTok, and it shows a drone being fired upon in Russia having absolutely no effect.
Yo, guys, this is crazy. He was gonna say having absolutely no effect. Yo, he just told you this is. It looks like they're missing it. You know what I mean? Like all the shots don't look like they hit. But we'll see. You guys will see what you'll see right now yourself. Drop a comment.
Effect on this drone. But this also kind of reminds me of.
So Russia was blessed over Moscow with a spinning drone or UFO type object that seems to be being engaged by the military, and the rounds seem to be not really having much effect on what this object is. I mean, you can spinning. There's a light at the back. There's no noise associated with this other than the crackling of the machine gun fire. And if we're closing now, you can't hear it. It circles back. And they can't give up. So seen on another perspective as well, where there's quite a few.
I don't understand why they would fire on them, even though they weren't being aggressive. That's one thing I don't understand. Like just for we've seen. Now I'm not saying that we're not the people behind it. I don't know what's going on, but if we're not, we didn't fire them. You know, Russia's just like that, right? They just like let's fire at them.
Different perspectives of this object, and each one is just equally as weird. So I'm not sure what to think. Again, very strange. And the fact being engaged and having no effect, very strange once again. All right. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Russia.
All they're doing is wasting bullets. Even if let's say they could strike it, why they weren't aggressive.
Get a grip, bruv. What is going on? Jeez.
Does anybody
get a grip,
remember those
bro.
news articles that came out towards the end of 2024? I think it was December, where the Pentagon said that there were drones flying over military Air Force bases. We all had the question of, well, why isn't the military taking these drones down? And they said that, well, we could, but these drones, they are not hostile. They're not breaking the law, even though they are flying over restricted Air Force bases next to F-35s and other
That's
very important equipment. So we came to the conclusion that it's not that they don't want to take them down, is that they can't take them down. Maybe these same type of drones flying over Russia are the same type of drones that were flying over the United States and over certain Air Force bases that couldn't be taken down. This is a very good video by Pretty Realist on TikTok. Not only is it a good video, but it's very important information we should all be aware of when it comes to these job-seeking websites.
Now they're using Indeed to traffic people. Indeed, the app that
You know, I was thinking when I seen it before. Nowadays, when you send your applications to all these job employment places, you give them a lot of information. You know, be careful with saying that you're an employment company, but you've never heard of them before. You're supposed to trusted places, and but this is that Indeed. If you look it up on the website, if you look it up on Google through Google search or even through a chat bot, it'll tell you that Indeed is a trusted website. And then watch.
you're supposed to be using to look for a job, people are literally coming up missing. So I came across a story here regarding some situations that's going on in Florida. I don't know if it's happening in other cities. I have never heard of this, where people are looking for jobs, going to these places where they think the interview is at and coming up missing. Somebody put up on CERN. Like, pools are definitely some dark, evil entities that are among us. To play with a person at their most vulnerable time.
For people that didn't catch that, because I didn't catch it the first time neither, she's in Florida. CERN is located in Florida. That's why she said that about CERN. CERN is supposed to be right there around the Mariana Trench, I believe. So I'm thinking that she brought up CERN because she's in the same state.
When they are looking for a job, never mind the fact that people have been looking for jobs, ain't been having no luck. People have already been saying that Indeed ain't worth two dead flies smashed. Now they got to worry about the fact that when they actually get a call back, get dressed up and go and thinking that they about to get a job to provide for themselves, only for them to possibly get snatched up. If you got a job right now, stop complaining about it, okay? Be grateful, be thankful. It's definitely something really, really nasty going on here. There's always been danger going on in the country. You are fucking lie if you don't tell me that a lot of this really start getting worse over the last 4 or 5 years. And it's a damn shame that American citizens who may be needing assistance with getting a job and using a trusted site to find one can't even trust the damn site no more.
Yeah, that's bad because think about it. Let's say you need surgery and you're absolutely vulnerable under anesthesia. So like that's a even like in this one they're putting you to sleep by saying they got a job for you. But imagine if like it's just imagine. I wouldn't even want you to imagine. But just got to be even more careful, it seems. Ever since people realized that technology power, with great power, there's people out there that don't really give a shit about you, even if you're a good person or a bad person. They don't care about you either way. It's not like, there's people out there, good people. But then there's people out there where you could be good and in their head, they don't care at all. They would do knowing that you're a good person, but it matters not.
Unplug CERN, unplug Indeed, unplug all of this. In fact, just start the whole world over.
Right.
Because at this point, we are sliding down a razor blade and landing in an alcohol river.
Ooh.
Indulge in a world of refined luxury.
What she says is true. That, I mean, even if you are real or not, there are some people out there that are just so evil and they will prey on people at their most vulnerable that they're really no different than demons.
Yeah, they're demons on Earth, human demons.
Now, I was actually going to go ahead and talk about this in one of my obscure internet mysteries videos, but now is a good time to talk about this because there is an article from finance.yahoo.com, and this article was published on November 6, 2014. This article is titled, "Someone has been running this mysterious classified ad for 10 straight years now." You can see the ad right here. They're looking for a research associate personal assistant in New York City, and they go on to say that highly intelligent
There's some perverted 90-year-old man.
Resourceful individuals with exceptional communication skills sought to undertake research projects and administrative tasks for one of Wall Street's most successful entrepreneurs. We welcome applications from writers, musicians, artists, or others who may be pursuing other professional goals in the balance of their time. And they're offering $90,000 to $110,000 a year to start, depending on qualifications. And they're asking you to send their resume to Gen8R at spsfine.com. They never state who the person will be working for, who the employer may be, and the money is quite enticing. The current ad is now on monster.com. The article goes on to say that the ad seems to have been posted and reposted for a decade now, only with a different email address and other minor changes every now and then.
Something's fishy.
One of the other different emails were mtgen2@gmail.com. This ad is also appearing in the New Republic. A writer for the Huffington Post, they saw this ad and thought this would be perfect for their daughter. So in 2006, they tried to have their daughter recruited for this job. They sent an email, but they received no answer. She once again saw the same ad in the February issue in 2009 of the New Republic. She also noticed the email was different as well. But continuing to read the article, it says, "It is not clear when the ad originally first ran. John Ator, a writer from Ohio who is behind Working with Words, wrote, 'We've just been tracking it here for 9 years, but I believe the ad began running several years before that. That was in 2013. So someone has been running the same mysterious classified ad for 10 years straight now.' Now, just because this Huffington Post writer didn't get a response does not mean that others did not. Maybe when people are sending in their resumes to this email, whoever's behind this email is looking for certain things in these resumes, and they're sending response emails back telling people to go to a certain location, and these people,
Man, first the Indeed website, right? You can't trust it. You go for a marathon run on the mountain in Alaska, you get kidnapped or you go missing, whatever. Now there's some weird advertisement been putting out for years.
people are never seen or heard from again. So this is definitely something that's very creepy and something we should all be made aware of. But talking about something very suspicious and creepy, have you all heard the news that a shipping container
This is the one. The chicken washes up on the shore of Jamaica and they're like, like they think they got, but fast to find a container of chicken fresh. And anyway, let me let you watch. They
are full of chicken landed on the shores of Jamaica, and these
If I
people,
was hungry, if
they
I was
open the
starving, I'd
container
probably eat
and
it
they're
too.
taking all the chicken out, they're cooking and eating the chicken, but people are noticing just how suspicious this happens to be. Now look, I get it, people are hungry, people are starving, but going back to what I said in my previous segment, people who are vulnerable are.
Yeah, he's right. That was the theme of this vulnerability. You're vulnerable on the mountain. You're vulnerable when you're looking for a date on Indeed. What was the other one? But you're vulnerable here because these are that could use some food in their fridge and a boat of chicken washes up. It's crazy.
The easiest people to
been having a feast. They say there have been several.
Oh, and then when they put out an article, they put it out. What was it called again? I forget the name of those advertisements, but put the ad out, the one ad for $100,000. You need money. They make you vulnerable. Next thing you know, something bad happens. That's what it's about, vulnerability, and the food washing ashore. If those people they're vulnerable, but then you don't. God forbid. I swear. I pray that there's no contaminants in that chicken that they eat, that they don't get no illnesses, especially stuff that could spread. Hopefully in the coming days we a report that nothing got sick, whatever.
Warnings, rather, from the authorities for Jamaicans not to eat the product. But the residents say the chicken is among the best they have ever eaten. Kelisha Williams has that story.
This is all that's left inside the now infamous chicken container that washed
Cleaned it
ashore an
out.
isolated beach in Sandy Hills, Helsha, St. Catherine, a few days ago.
Everybody take our chicken, man. I say me.
As the materials start to rot, a foul smell in the air, attracting vultures. But the people along Helsha Beach, Sandy Hills, and other communities in Portmore, St. Catherine, told TVJ News that they made sure to empty the container before any of the chicken went bad.
Them chicken, they are some iron chicken. Well tender and something. Yeah, man, me have a couple.
He said they're well tender. He said me have a couple of them in my fridge. He says something else too. It is what it is, man. Let me tell you something. Like I said, I just pray they don't get sick or nothing. So far, so good.
You know what I mean?
You eat it?
Consume it, you know?
Consume it.
Yeah, man.
The Health Agriculture Ministries cautioning people not to eat the chicken because it may have been contaminated during its journey to the shore.
Now, I just have the strongest suspicion that that container did not float to shore looking at those rocks there. I feel like that container was placed there because in that location, that area, those people were very...
Let me tell you something. Even though they didn't get sick right off the back, that don't mean that's a lot. Down the line, something can't happen nowadays.
They needed food, and miraculously, a container full of chicken arrives at their doorstep. My conspiracy senses, my minutes of horror senses are really tingling right now because I just wonder, are these people some kind of test subject? Are we going to hear of a major disease break out in Jamaica or something along those lines? Because something about this doesn't sit well with me.
That's what I was saying to you guys.
Studio, the platform
that I pray that none of them get sick.
For agencies and built to meet.
Hopefully none of it was contaminated.
Y'all don't find this oddly convenient and suspicious that a whole shipping container with preserved chicken, that chicken is still fresh when it hits that sand, just washes up in Jamaica? There's no traces of the ship where this container mysteriously fell from. There hasn't been any claim from any business reporting missing inventory. If I'm handling inventory for my business and thousands of chicken packages randomly disappear, you don't think I'm going to report it? You don't think that shipping container that weighs 1,000 pounds would be further out in the beach? How did it make its way all the way to the shore, just perfectly placed there? And from me doing some research, I found out that chicken spoils quickly. It doesn't take a long time for chicken.
Yeah, chicken spoils quicker than pork and beef. Actually, no, take that back. Beef spoils, then chicken, then pork, I believe. But yeah, there's some rocks in the water. I don't see how that container, the hump, you know what I mean, made it to the shore.
Chicken to go bad. These chickens don't look rotten to me. They look perfectly preserved. You see when something is too good to be true and they're like setting a stage and everything looks perfect? This is exactly what's going on right here. We cannot be that gullible as a society. There's way too many red flags and there's way too many things that are not adding up with this. I'm still waiting.
I agree with him. He hit it on the head. Too many red flags. There's like one thing, then another thing.
On that, they're missing inventory because that's way too much chicken for you to not say nothing and for you to not report it. My people in Jamaica, don't eat this.
Drop a comment. Let me know if you think it's tainted, and if you think anything happened, ideas.
Don't eat this chicken.
Yeah. Now look, I am not bashing, I'm not or putting these people down for eating this chicken. If you haven't eaten in days, you're starving, you're going to look past certain things just to have a meal.
Yeah.
I blame the people who put that there. I strongly believe that container was put there on purpose. Sounds like that chicken came from Bill Gates Incorporated. I'm just joking. YouTube, that is for
7th of 2024. The store manager watches footage of something that happened earlier while sounding pretty nervous. He immediately ran to his computer to pull up the video and save it, just in case no one believed something happened as he was unpacking boxes, and he knows that he caught it on camera. In fact, many things happen in this footage.
You're going to see a crate all the way in the background fly off the shelf.
But it's what happens towards the end of the video that terrifies him greatly. Ever since then, he's been watching his back, hoping that it doesn't happen again. The following is the store manager's footage. Watch.
I would have quit.
Single night. I just like putting things away from the bar. All right, now watch. I want you guys to focus.
Yeah, it's right over here where he's showing you guys.
This area right here. Okay?
Right off.
Hold on, let me speed this bit.
They haven't got the clue on how to use it.
All right, watch.
If you have the doctrine right and you stow it on a shelf in your closet and do not pull that doctrine out.
Boom, you see that? I'll get back here for you guys to give you a better view. Look at that. And I'm just like tripping, like, what?
Okay, now to be fair, right? Couldn't up there behind the box and he pushed it off and you couldn't see him, right? But anything else happens and it's unexplainable. So that whole him having a friend push the box off the thing theory, they're about to put that to bed.
Okay, but pay attention to this area right here.
I can't.
Watch.
They could teach justification correctly. But so what? It's not what I asked you.
Is that? Look, I'm here by myself. Nobody's here. It's just, see that?
I would be wilding if I was by myself in a big place like that and, you know, it wasn't a joke. If it wasn't about to see something wild right now, you got to watch the guy's hair in a second.
Come out. I'm not afraid of you.
It took me a second to spot it.
Is that you? I threw down the box earlier? Come on out. You don't scare me. Come on out. Always trying to mess with me. Oh, shit.
All right, now he felt something. He ran off. He goes back and he looks at the camera and something picks up his hair. He's here right now.
No. Hell no. Hell.
Watch his hair jump. You hear the back of his hair. Somebody like picks.
I'm here. Look there.
Watch the hair.
That? You see that? Nah.
So quick.
Nah.
I truly don't know how something like this off if this was a hoax. But my thing is, I would not be working alone inside this store of this size by myself.
Yeah.
That would be my first day and my last day working at a place like that. That is really eerie.
When did the North Pole go from being this or this to this? Yeah, so when did it go from being 4 rivers, 4 big giant islands, and a big...
See, I'll let y'all guys watch this. I don't believe the earth is flat. I believe it's a globe, a sphere, whatever you want to, not a circle because the circle's flat, but yeah, a sphere. But you know, to the people, no, to the earth is flat. I just personally myself think it's a sphere.
Magnetic rock at the middle to this. And then this one is what was his name? Cornelius de Jode, and this in 1593. So 3 of them depict the North Pole as 4 islands, okay, with magnetic rock, black rock, Rufus Nigra at the center. And this one's covered up, but it was same. You got the 4 rivers. The Mercator's map was fictitious. Even though all these maps show even like there's Florida, you know, extending out. It's pretty close. It's not, but you're telling me people that built these amazing structures that we look back on and go, how did they do it? Didn't have boats to map this shit out. If it's so to prove that it's fictitious, just give us an aerial shot. Give us an aerial shot of it. You've got this island right here, which is this island right here. You've got this island here, which is this island here. This one here is this one here. They're the same. And if they this right, why is it that much further, just a little bit, and this is all false?
Does it surprise anybody that they would lie to us about certain locations or certain things on this earth that are depicted differently on older maps? And the thing is, if you go to Google Earth, Google Maps, you will see there are a lot of things blurred out.
Yeah, you're going to have to leave the camera there.
On Google Earth, especially when it comes to...
Not the camera, but you know...
Antarctica. What is also interesting, too, when it comes to the older in the North Pole, they talk about a black rock, which is supposed to be a magnetic compass.
They found stuff with Google Maps. That's crazy.
And this is where supposedly the company or the organization BlackRock got their name from.
This is the aircraft carrier shelter you seized, previously owned by a small faction of about 800.
Now,
This next creepy video about the cryptid, the Hat Man, comes from Parahan on TikTok.
The scariest case to come out of this is probably the scariest case to come out. It's personal to me because I actually worked on this case. Now, I had a friend who
worked on the case. That means he's law enforcement, well, ex-law enforcement, I would think.
And he was a paranormal investigator. He reaches out to me one day and is like, hey, so I got this weird case and, I'm kind of stumped. Like, could you help me with it? Apparently, there was an American family who lived on the reservation. And they had a daughter who was like 16 or 17. And at the time, she was getting dropped off from a friend's one night at her parents' home. Well, her friend drops her off. And she said when she got out of the car, she had to walk down this like bumpy, gravelly, muddy road. And she said as she's walking down this gravel road, and next to her, is the woods, she sees this man standing on the side of the road. He said he had this black hat on, a black cloak, and she said she couldn't really see his face at the time because it was turned. She said as she walked a little closer to him, he turned his face, and she said he had no mouth, no nose, but these solid red eyes. And he was just...
The picture looks spooky.
Just staring at her. Well, she said, she walked as fast as she could to the house, and this man began...
I would have walked as fast as I can, too.
And, runs inside her house, and she's, screaming, crying at this. Her dad's like, what's going on? Why are you crying? And she said, there's this man out there, and he was following me. So her dad runs out of the house and just starts for this guy. He doesn't find anyone. He doesn't see anything. And he's like, you sure there was a guy out there? And she's like, yeah, I seen him. He was on the road, and he was followed the house. So a couple weeks pass, and they start noticing that daughter is waking up at night from having these terrible dreams that she is seeing this man in her room. And not only that, she is waking up with these scratches all over her body.
You think this is a true story? Definitely drop a comment.
In the next coming months, right, there was something banging on the windows, banging on the doors, right? They could hear scratching sounds coming from the roof all night long, except when the father would go and investigate and try to figure out what was going on. He couldn't find anything. And night, the daughter is having this terrible, and the mother in the other room, she could hear this going. So she walks over to her bedroom, which the door is halfway open. She looks in, and she said she could see a man standing next to her bed with this hat and this cloak on. She goes in her room, she flips on the lights, and she said it was gone. And not only this thing was, attacking, this girl was attacking their home. It had left marks on the home. There were claw mark footprints all around the home.
I don't know. This one's a little far-fetched, guys. This one...
These are real pictures from some of the damage that it was causing and these marks that it left on this girl. Now, I started looking into this case, and I started researching what we come to know today as the Hat Man.
I'll leave it for you guys. I would have skipped this one, but I'm going to leave it. There's somebody out there that might be interested.
And as I got deeper into I started to notice weird things were happening to me. I lived up in Chicago at the time, and one night I'm asleep. And I remember it was 3 a.m. I wake up to the sound of a scream.
Definitely leave a comment about whether you think this is official, if he's telling an official story, or if he's fabricating this.
And I'd never heard anything like that before. So I immediately jump up. I think someone's in the house. What is going on? I searched my entire home. There was no one there. The door locked. The windows were closed. So as I'm getting ready to go back to bed, I walk past the living room. And as I turn, sitting in a lazy boy recliner is what looks like a man in a cloak and a hat, just rocking. And I look again. He's gone. but I could see movement of the chair, and that's someone obviously had bumped it or had been sitting in it.
Real convenient.
And that like sent chills down my back. And I immediately like went into the bedroom, closed it. And mysteriously, as all of this started, it one day stopped. And to me, what I thought personally was this was a case of the Hat Man.
Now, I myself, I've never encountered the Hat Man, even though I've had plenty of cases of sleep. I've heard many strange.
I get sleep paralysis. It's when you feel like you get sleep and like some sort of like I know I'm awake. I know I'm and then it's like rip yourself out of the sleep. It sucks. It's annoying. It's beyond. It feels like you're trapped in yourself. Then when you finally wake up, you're like, yeah, you're happy. I'm gonna hear what he says. Let's see if he is. I seen some of this. I think I seen pretty much to the end, but I don't remember what he says right now. We're done. There's only like 2 minutes left.
Things in my ear, and I've felt this horrible fear, but I haven't seen the Hat Man. But those that have, and I have friends that have, always say they feel this incredible sense of. They also notice they have scratches or bruises on their body that they can't account for, and it usually happens directly after they have this encounter.
That's not what I go through.
Most homeowners have it somewhere.
Whatever that was, he's talking about something different.
In their house. It's that one bad window. It's.
That's my man from the Conspiracy Files.
4-year-old man in that video named Effican Kultur died from obesity-related issues after blowing up on social media for posting mukbang content. So Effican, who was from Turkey, blew up here on TikTok and posted tons of content involving mukbangs. If you don't know what mukbangs are, they're essentially videos where hosts eat a large amount of food while interacting with the audience or sharing stories. And Effican posted a lot of videos of him doing these sorts.
Man, he's big, man. I'm not even making fun of him too because I gotta lose weight.
Sadly, though, shortly after he became famous, his health declined. Earlier this year, Effican was admitted to the hospital for obesity-related issues. And before he passed, it was reported that Effican couldn't even move himself, and that his health had gotten so bad that he couldn't even go to visit his own mother's grave, who passed away in the year 2024. Damn. And then on March 7th, 2025, Effican passed away. At that point, he had been in the hospital for 3 months already, and I couldn't find an actual exact cause of death, but everybody who's reported on this just said that it was obesity-related issues. In the wake of Effican's death, the Turkish government has claimed that they want to ban social media usage for children under the age of 16. Claiming that it's dangerous for kids to be exposed to content like this. This is obviously a horrible way to go, so to Effican's entire family, my condolences.
That video came from the Paranormal Files on TikTok.
I couldn't understand. He said the Paranormal File. I said conspiracy theory. I think it's conspiracy theory on YouTube and paranormal on TikTok.
And this is something.
Yeah, see, he said the TikTok. But that's man. Life is hard on bro. You see people do wild drinking, drugs, overeating. I think I say cigarettes, but all that stuff. Harder things, all that stuff. After a certain amount of time, your body's a machine. You don't want parts breaking because there's certain parts that aren't fixable. You know what I'm saying? Even whether you're talking a computer or you're talking about a human being. We're both systems, and if the processor goes, which is your brain, or you get it like your heart even, those have trouble, God bless the man doing the mukbangs.
Something I have been talking quite some now on my other channel, where a lot of videos that have a lot of good information and they are seen as quote unquote conspiratorial, they get deleted. But we have content like this where we have creators and people, they will gorge themselves on camera, eating a ton of food, gaining all this weight, becoming very unhealthy, all for social media, all for clout. And these social media platforms, they allow it to the point that these people end up passing away because.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, like, at least what we do is informative. It's not trying to knock the people, but one is definitely unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? So
Not only is there an addiction of food, but there's also the addiction of fame, money, so forth. They are also attracting and enticing other people to also fall into the same lifestyle.
Yeah. You don't want to make it where you have a habit that's gonna your quality of life not as good as it should be, you know what I'm saying? Trust me, I know what I'm talking about, And like I said, it really sucks, when you make a mistake and it takes you a second to fix what the error of your ways, the mistake, whatever hole you have to dig yourself out the hole. You know what I'm saying? All right, it's your boy Spank Dog, aka Puffinstein at YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. BC Spank Dog at Instagram, Puffinstein514 at Twitch, and Robert Lopez at Facebook. I wanted to share one of the videos on Elon Musk that I watched earlier. I didn't get to finish it. I figured I'd watch it with you guys. I was kind of pressed for time. So hopefully it's a good one. Like I said, usually I check them out first. But, Makla never lets us down. So let's see. All right, let's see what's going on.
Round of applause to Elon Musk, who way overpromised, way underdelivered, as he always does, and only had to ruin tens of thousands of lives to ultimately save a fraction of what Doge promised to save. We have just learned recently that Elon Musk's total Doge savings, number one, aren't even trustworthy, but number two, even if we took what he says at face value,
Yeah, guys, they made big promises. They delivered a very small percentage of the promise, and they messed up so many things just to get so little done. It's ridiculous,
It's only a fraction of what he promised, and I love to break it all down. But first, it's called comedy, liberals. He was joking about saving $2 trillion. He was actually going to save just a fraction of that the whole time. I want to start here before we jump into Doge, because I found this story to be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I did see this part, and I wasn't shocked to find out that Elon Musk is annoying and unfunny and should probably take a drug test. Trump officials reportedly say.
Elon Musk is unfunny, annoying, and should probably take a drug test, Trump officials reportedly say. A senior official describes the billionaire as an awkward and obnoxious asshole. No. Elon Musk, who would have thought he was awkward and obnoxious and an asshole? As a member of the public, it's been pretty unbearable to watch Elon Musk take a front and center role in the new Trump admin. A preening, awkward spectacle of greed, stupidity, and self-importance. Basically, Elon Musk asking the question, how much power can I gain with the wealth that I have? If I use my wealth to buy a social media platform and then to use that platform to spread propaganda, use that propaganda to consolidate power with Trump and then to ruin people's lives. And I don't even think that was Elon Musk's end goal. I don't really think he cares about.
I'm going to calm down for a second, but I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to still be right here. I'm just going to calm down for a second.
The veterans that he's ruining the lives of. That's not what he's thinking about. He's thinking about his own wealth, his own goals of making Tesla the official government contractor when it comes to space and all things like that. We've seen him try to nuke Verizon contracts with the government and replace them with Starlink contracts. Just blatant, brazen corruption, but Rolling Stone claims. Let's click on this article. Inside Elon Musk's gleeful destruction of the government. We don't have to read this full article, but this summarizes it. Rolling Stone claims that senior Trump officials have characterized the billionaire as incredibly unfunny, radically annoying, crazy, and potentially in need of regular mandatory drug tests. All of these things are obvious. You don't need to know Elon Musk to know that he's unfunny. You just have to follow him on Twitter. Listen to him speak to know that he's radically annoying and crazy, and just look at his eye movements to know that he's potentially in need of mandatory drug tests. Quote, some senior Trump administration.
Even though Elon Musk isn't my favorite person on the planet, the drug thing, I wouldn't speculate on that. just because that's a little different. It's crazy to speculate about anything and believe your own speculation without like, any validity to it, proof to your belief, your contemplation, your speculation. But as far as him doing any sort of drugs, I don't know. That's speculation. That's allegedly. But I wouldn't be shocked. I could say that. You know what I'm saying?
Officials and cabinet members have found themselves deeply annoyed by Musk. There have also been reports for a while now that Musk is incredibly aggressive in behind the scenes scenarios, which actually I find pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's annoying. You never been around a person that you're like, yo, like if this dude don't chill out, I'm gonna have to do something.
Because when I listen to him speak, he sometimes doesn't seem very confident or fluent in the way that he speaks. And that's fine if he has a stutter or whatever. But the thing is, apparently behind the scenes, he's very aggressive when he's advocating for policy.
I stutter a little bit, but it's not a stutter. I look for the perfect words so much that I don't flow sometimes. But like if I don't stress articulating myself perfectly, I could speak without a stutter. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a true stutter. It's me wanting to be too articulate, to be honest with you. You heard me just speak fluently without any problem. But I don't know about Elon Musk.
They're advocating for his own business. I just find that dichotomy or the juxtaposition pretty weird, rather. The same officials told the magazine that the billionaire has irritated cabinet officials so much that they wondered whether he's on drugs. Musk has gnawed at the patience of an array of high-ranking admin officials to the point that, according to this official and two others, Trump lieutenants have walked out of meetings and earnestly asked one another if they thought Musk was high. And he very likely is, by the way. Admin officials joke to one another about subjecting Musk to mandatory drug tests, which Musk himself said would be a great idea for federal employees. He said that time and time again, that it would be a great idea for federal employees to get mandatory drug tests. It gets worse. Quote, I've been in the same room with Elon, and he always tries to be funny, and he's not funny. Like at all, the senior official told the magazine. He makes these jokes in little asides and smiles. And
this is so funny. Oh, man. I don't know if any of you guys ever seen Black and White with Mike Tyson, and Robert Downey Jr. keeps bothering him, and he's not a straight guy neither, and he keeps going up to Mike Tyson. That's hilarious.
And it looks almost hurt if you don't laugh.
If you get a chance, check out Black and White Mike Tyson scene with Robert Downey Jr.
Up his. I know people like this. I totally know people like this. I keep using the word annoying. A lot of people who have to deal with him do, but the word doesn't do the situation justice, they added. Elon just thinks he's smarter than everyone else in the room and acts like it, even when it's clear he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's one video out there of Elon Musk sitting next to Donald Trump at a UFC match. They went to a UFC match one time. You most likely have seen some clips from it. But there's one video where Elon Musk is sitting there scrolling through Twitter, as he always does, and he starts chuckling and laughing, and then he tries to show Trump a funny meme, and Trump just like he doesn't really care. And I know friends like that, where it's like, please stop showing me Instagram reels. I really don't care. But going on to this, Elon Musk and Doge promised up to $2 trillion
said he went
in government savings. How much have they actually saved so far? And I found this article from March 14th.
How do you not realize that people, like you're talking about cutting people's jobs with a chainsaw? What's wrong with you?
2025, because I wanted to compare it, particularly to this brand new article. Musk says he expects to save $150 billion from government waste and fraud. I mean, $150 billion. I know overall, like raw, that is a lot of money. But when you take into account government spending and what Elon Musk has gone through and the trade-off, I'm going to say that $150 billion is not a lot whatsoever. Like, let me read this.
And then it says, but its own wall of receipts shows just 35 billion. He did what he did for just $35 billion. And we're not talking about $35 billion that would make me and you ecstatic. That's different. Of course, $35 billion to me and you is like, forget about it. I'd be straight with $1 million. That's worth to everything I love. If you gave me $1 million, I'd flip it. That's not what they're talking about. Like, don't look at 35 billion. He saved a lot of money. For that 35 billion, he might have put us through 100 billion worth of trouble. Remember the government freeze, everything that's been going on, the deportations. You know, I've seen people say Donald Trump is going to fix the economy. But then I see the people that are reporting the facts saying he is the president that has put us in the most debt in the history of presidents. So the people that I hear saying that, I trust. So I believe that that's true. So if you guys could come and tell me that it's not true, that Trump hasn't put us in the most debt, more debt than any other president ever, come with your facts, come with your comments, please.
While Musk boasts about cutting $150 billion from basic services, Trump is trying to increase the military budget by more than $150 billion just this year. So, from $841 billion last year to now a clean $1 trillion. So while Elon Musk saved $150 billion, Trump is now increasing the Pentagon budget by $160 billion. So Elon is basically just not saving anything. It's a wash. And by the way, Trump is going to continue to increase the military budget year over year over year. I can almost guarantee.
Yeah, because he said $1 trillion. That's $850 billion negative.
And that raises the question. I mean, he's withdrawing military troops from other countries. It's not like the U.S. military is going to go invade a sovereign territory like Panama or Greenland. Oh, wait. Oh, no. No, but in all seriousness, to go back to Elon Musk's savings, I hope I'm explaining how $150 billion, well, yes, is an insane fucking amount of money, is not, in the grand scope of things, a massive amount of money when it comes at the cost of tens of thousands of veterans' jobs, tens of thousands of people who have worked for the government. When it comes at the cost of U.S. aid, dude, I will gladly pay 0.02% of my income to taxes that go to U.S. aid so America can maintain soft power and stop viruses.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. What did he do? He did $100 billion worth of damage to save 35 billion or something to that effect. Then they're saying even if he saved the 150 billion, Trump's going to spend $1 trillion on the military. So he's not only didn't make any. After Trump spends the $1 trillion, we're going to be 850 billion down anyway. And like I said, I told you guys, he's the most spendingest president ever. And they were saying that he's having cognitive difficulties. And I don't know how true that is. That's the one that I want to be careful with. Allegedly, I'll say on that one. But, if the report I've seen is right, he's looking like old age might be getting to him.
From spreading across the globe and coming to our front door. But this article from over a month ago reads, as the head of President Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has vowed to cut between $1 trillion and $2 trillion from the annual federal budget by 2026. His original promise was $2 trillion in the course of a few months. Then it was $1 trillion, maybe by 2026. Now it's $150 billion. And there's an interesting theory I read the other day that says there's a reality where Elon Musk called this department the Department of Government Efficiency because he wanted to hide his Doge pump and dumps from 2022. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but in 2022, there was a small shitcoin named Doge. And Doge basically, if I look it up.
I told you guys about the Bitcoins. How many times have I told you guys about the Bitcoins? The NFTs are even worse, But at the same time, I tell you this, we're in a technology influenced time. It's a tech era, tremendously. I wouldn't say that Bitcoin, first of all, Bitcoin is high. That's the originator, and I wouldn't say that there's not other companies out there. Without me researching, I'm pretty sure that there wouldn't even be crypto if there weren't other successful companies. But the rug pull, you gotta watch for the rug pull. People build up their own coin just to pull everything out, including your money. And then the coin goes to crap and you don't got nothing. It's all gone. And the person who created the coin just did a scam and ripped everybody off, got all his money back and took all of yours, And like I said, I meant it. Be careful with crypto. I did not say that you can't buy a certain crypto and get money with it. Lots of money with it. I don't know about the crypto like that, but I do know that a lot of people utilize crypto to scam people.
Dogecoin was this meme right here, right? And Elon Musk used to send out these tweets, Doge to the moon, and then it would skyrocket. and then he would send out a tweet and it would just fall. It was blatant market manipulation. It's honestly in the exact same vein of Trump's market manipulation.
Remember too, a NFT is a digital. It could be a meme. It could be like I told you, a highlight from a sports game. You know, people act like they know. They don't. A lot of people don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the kind of person that I'll know, and I'll be easy because I don't want to say something and not be accurate. But trust me when I tell you, the NFTs, be careful. The crypto, be careful.
That we saw just a few days ago. It's funny what happens when nobody can hold you accountable. But the point is, there's a reality, there's a chance that Elon Musk called it Doge because he wanted to cover up his Dogecoin pump and dumps. Like if I look up Elon Musk pumps and dumps Dogecoin, you have to look up this in particular and not just Elon Musk Doge. But here it is. Elon Musk dodged a $258 million.
Look at what's on everybody that always tries to stick up for Trump or Elon Musk and they say stuff like, you know, you're wrong. Read the article. They're not gonna publish that. They would have to retract it if they were wrong. You understand? You can't run a newspaper with a good track record, you know, and you know, you got to have a good reputation. So most likely, almost 100%, what you're reading right there is, you know, there's truth to that. You know, and look at what you're reading. And this is the guy that we got, but him and Trump are running the country. And this is the type of stuff. You know, if a person that was a low income person did that, they throw him in jail forever.
Dogecoin lawsuit. He got sued over this because he pumped and dumped it. But the lawsuit ended up not really amounting to anything. But either way, you have to search for this in particular. But if you search up Elon Doge, you just see Musk's latest. I mean, none of these articles are even better. Musk's latest fraud finding isn't what it seems. His team found cases of seemingly fake people receiving unemployment benefits, but that fake data exists for a reason. Here's the thing. What is it called? Occam's razor, that the simplest answer is usually the best answer.
You know, the whole airport 115-year-old, 150-year-old people collecting benefits, there is a reason to it. They used that method to balance another problem. He's going to explain right now.
Are the most likely to be correct answer. So what's more likely to be correct? What's simpler here? That there's a reason this fake data exists, maybe as a placeholder within the database, and these people actually know what they're doing, or that there's some nefarious scheme by the elites to trim off the top of Social Security and steal it from people. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency announced this week that they had found something especially startling in their government-wide hunt for fraud. Tens of thousands of people claiming unemployment benefits who were over the age of 115 or under the age of 5 with birth dates in the future. I like how I searched up Elon Musk Doge on an offhanded thing, and we still somehow got looped into another scandal that he's a part of. Quote, your tax dollars were going to pay fraudulent unemployment claims for fake people, claims Elon Musk. He shared this claim by a group saying that someone with the birth date 2154 claimed $41,000. These were indeed probably fake people, but in a different way than Mr. Musk seems to realize. It was also likely a case of his team discovering fraud that had already been discovered. It's kind of like when they said they saved $6 billion in this certain contract, and we found out that contract expired in like 2019 and had already been paid out. Like, bro, the issue dates to early in the pandemic when millions of Americans surged onto state unemployment rolls in an unprecedented expansion of the safety net. The emergency aid program enacted by President Trump's first term was also susceptible to fraud. Any system, any program is going to be susceptible to some level of fraud. The question is, how can you have mechanisms to minimize that fraud? There's always going to be fraud. As many as 15% of unemployment claims were fraudulent, often using stolen identities. Now, that is a high number right there. To preserve records of that fraud and protect victims of the identity theft, the U.S. Labor Department encouraged state agencies that administer unemployment benefits to create pseudo-claim records, in effect, to tie real cases of fraud in their data, believe people. The implausibility of the records was the point. Agencies were seeking a way to keep track of fraud claims while detaching them from the identities of innocent people who might one day apply for unemployment benefit themselves.
He's explaining the reason for having the people collecting benefits that aren't alive, the 150-year-old people.
Now, 4 years later, Mr. Musk and his team appear to have found those make-believe people that were used in the past to detect fraud. And now he's claiming that it's this massive, huge
They were utilizing it to detect fraud.
scandal. What else is there when I look up Elon Musk?
And now he's trying to say it's a scandal so this way he could get out of trouble.
Elon Musk's Doge discovers millions in taxpayer dollars wasted on unemployment fraud for fake people. Okay, so this is from the New York Post. This is the story that we just debunked. And this story has probably reached more people because
it's not for fake people. They were utilizing it to catch people doing fraud.
Few days old.
If I heard him correct, but the whole point is that he didn't uncover no big scandal. The government was utilizing that tactic either to catch people doing fraudulent things or to balance something. I can't tell which is which, but one or the other.
Point. It's from April 10th, and I'm recording this video on April 12th. You know, I'll leave it at that. I just want to end this off by saying Trump and his allies have been attacking the media a lot, and I do want to point out that we are the factor they did not take into account. We are currently growing at a rapid pace. For Q1 of 2025, I grew faster than Charlie.
Yeah, that's what's up. Mockler's been getting busy. You already know, man. Yeah, listen, it's always something, man. It's always something with Elon Musk. It's always something with Trump. It's and it's like every day, you know what I'm saying? Like every day they can't help making some, you know, it's like two wild and crazy guys. It's Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd, you know, and not in a good way, because Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd were the men when they did Two Wild and Crazy Guys. Trump and Elon Musk are not the men. And on that note, it's your boy Spank Dog. Much love. You know what I'm saying? Much real love. Not like these suckers that are running our country. You know what I'm saying? Real love. You know, helping the poor. You know what I'm saying? That's a big one. You know, helping the middle class, evening things out. You know, why some guy got $1 billion and then another one got a decent amount of money, but he's still struggling to put two or three kids through college. You know, and then you say, well, you know, what do you want from us? But then if the kid doesn't go to college, you give him a messed up job. Anyway, it's your boy Spank Dog. Much love again. I'm out of here. One.